Welcome to the Association Weekend Edition post-game after we just saw the Atlanta Hawks extend their win streak to 6 straight games with a 125-116 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm Zach Harper. That's Mo Dakil. That's Sean Little, and we will bring you everything you need to know. We might hear from both coaches during this next hour or so. We're going to get all the highlights, all the stats you need. And guys, while I do want to focus on the Hawks win here, 6 straight, their 3,000th franchise victory, which I looked up. That's 6th all time. They also were like one of the first franchises, so I assume you're going to accumulate a lot when you've been playing since 1949, but an accomplishment nonetheless. But what seemed to come out of there that might be the most important bit of news, Sean, is Tyrese Maxey collided with a Dembona on one of those final plays. Looked like he hurt his hand. I don't know if it was his pinky. I don't know if it was the hand itself, but this Sixers team already
there's not enough offense out there for them. With Maxey leads the league in minutes because that's how much they need him on the floor. He's averaging about like 38.9 minutes a game. So we're going to take him off. Like there's not really an opportunity for them. And I know the Sixers just had picked up Campaign recently. He played in this game and things like. There's no replacing Tyrese Maxey. Like it's just the way he's played this season. All-star starter. He's going to be on people's all-NBA teams, maybe even first team. That might be tough to crack. But I think in general, though, he's going to be there across the board. Like, you can't replace that. So, there's no more words other than, like, this is just disastrous for the Sixers.
Hopefully it's not terrible news that we get at some point whenever we do get that injury update from the Philadelphia 76ers. But let's recap this game. Hawks win 125-116. Their 6th straight victory. They are the hottest team in basketball right now. And this one was, not a lot of defense in the first half. As we told you at halftime, both teams were shooting like a combined 64% from the field. We saw a little bit more defense in the second half. And, Sean, just Jalen Johnson, unbelievable. You talked about how unstoppable he is going to the rack. And it seemed like he just lived at the rim in this one.
Yeah, relentless. I think a perfect encapsulation of what he did the entire game was that last possession versus Bona when he just figured, okay, shot clock's running down. I have to get in the bag to bucket. And that's exactly what he did and ended with a flush. And it's not any floaters. It's not layups. It's meet me at the rim, and either I'm going to punch it on you or I'm going to the line. That's it. That's all. He's been awesome in the open floor, and he's now become that guy for them where we don't have any answers in this possession. Jalen, you got to bail us out. He had a big 3 in the fourth quarter as well. He showed every facet of his game on why he's on the trajectory to become an all-NBA guy. He was awesome tonight.
We're seeing in the highlights a lot of shots at the rim, and we talked about in the first half, the Sixers had 44 points in the paint. They finished with just 74, Mo. Just 74. So we didn't get the double up. We didn't get the 88. But 74 points in the paint from them, 60 from the Hawks in this one. Just an attack of the paint the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't get 88. I was hoping for that little double up action with where we were going. But both teams, and largely the Sixers, were able to consistently attack the paint over and over again in this game. And then once things started to slow down, the Hawks really started to get downhill. You can't give up 60 points in the paint, and that's what the Sixers did. I mean, you certainly can't give up 72. They still pulled out the win. It was pretty surprising, though. That's the dunk that Sean was talking about on Bona with that, play right there. I think the important thing, too, is the big number. The Sixers had 8 threes at halftime. They went 2 for 13 in the second half from 3. They just weren't able to keep up offensively despite getting to the paint so easily.
Yeah, Sean, what do you see here in the box score? Obviously, Jalen Johnson, 35 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, just an incredible game. But what else pops out to you with this box score here?
Yeah, that is just top heavy for Philly. Once again, we talked about it. Tyrese Maxey, we always knew was going to score 30 plus, 27 to 30 every night, right? He gets there. We talked about him potentially having to score 40 for them to keep up. But, I mean, you get a big game out of Kelly Oubre. Quentin Grimes was awesome. That was Mo's pick to click, right? He's going to have to step up. He's a guy that can get his own shot. That's a lot of the thing here when it comes to just like guard play. When shot clock's running down, there's got to be guys that can get their own bucket, and Quentin Grimes is one of those guys. But outside of those three, they're getting Andre Drummond looks late in the game for corner threes that need to go down. So there's just not enough options. Maxey had no field goals in the third quarter. He was dealing with something else. He goes in the locker room. We could still get more information there once these press conferences start to roll out. But without Maxey in that second half, they just had no juice. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker continued to shoot it well from the perimeter. He had 4 threes in the second half. So he continued to fill it up. They had ball handlers then when things got really tight. They just gave it to Jalen Johnson. He got to the rack and did what needed to be done.
6 straight victories for the Atlanta Hawks with a 125-116 victory over the 76ers, their 3,000th franchise win. We'll get into more of this game here from the coaches on the other side of this break. It's the Association Weekend Edition. Welcome back. The Association Weekend Edition postgame show here after the Hawks beat the 76ers 125-116. Zach Harper, Mo Dakhil, Sean Little with you. And so we had kind of a sloppy one here. We talked about the points in the paint already, 134 combined points in the paint. But each team also had 21 turnovers. The Sixers gave up 29 points off those turnovers, 25 points given up off the Hawks turnovers. Mo, the Sixers already down key players with VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, Joel Embiid missing time, not being in this game. The sloppiness, though, do you think that was more forced by Atlanta's defense, or is it just mistakes that Philly was making?
Look, Atlanta forced some of those turnovers, but if we're being honest, some of these turnovers from the Sixers were a bit silly. It started like midway through the second quarter, like out of a timeout, inbounding the ball. They just threw it out of bounds, Zach. Like it wasn't even a thing where you just kind of looked at it going like, oh, wow. Like some of these turnovers were unforced error, and they had done a good job really not turning the ball over. It was one of my points for the Sixers going into this game was don't turn the ball over. And it's one of those things. They did a good job for about a quarter and a half, but then once it started to get a little sloppy and get out of control, the dam broke and everything came through. And then you just add in the Hawks defense, and those guys were all over the place. They had their hands everywhere. They were getting deflections. They were getting that and then getting out running. It was a big one right there. That was a big problem for the Sixers.
Yeah, Sean, we saw a 65% from the field first half from Philadelphia, just 42.5% in the second half. What did you see, just the quality of shots after that?
Yeah, well, to go back to the turnovers, those also help defensively, right? If they're gonna give the ball away, because there's turnovers, as Mo was getting at, and then there's giveaways. A lot of these were giveaways in the second half, and then you bring in the portion of Maxey not being a part of the offense, then it's a lot easier for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, we talked about it pregame. In the first half, the last 10 games, as they've been winning, they've been getting their doors blown off in the first 2 frames. In the second 2 frames, they come out and tighten it up a little bit. So I think it was a little bit of both. But overall, too much firepower. And then when you start to turn the ball over, they get to run on the floor, offense comes easier, and then the momentum starts to turn on you. And then you don't have the release of Maxey to bail you out of possessions because he's not on the floor. He's dealing with whatever he's dealing with. And then it just starts to compound and you can't keep up. That's how Atlanta was able to turn the game around. I think a big key you saw was Atlanta has guys that can handle the ball, multiple. Mm-hmm. Philly didn't have any down the stretch.
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's go to Nick Nurse, the Philadelphia 76ers head coach, after the game.